every 10 seconds it's going to be like speed lightning round, something like that. Let's lock this seat here just so we don't have any crazy people jumping in.
You have that usually?
Oh, this is drop any link in here. Hey, Barb, what's this drop any link in here? What is that bit? You see
Sounds
that,
like
Matt?
we can advertise something if we want.
Can we?
Try it.
Let's see. I'm just going to put in my website there. What's it do? That's weird. Unlock seat. Drop in.
Hey,
so what,
you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're a little low there. It could be a little bit more.
Hold on, let me just switch to another Wi-Fi. Which.
Hey, Mark. Yeah, I have broken it. I took Blab down. Microsoft made me do it. I just got back from a mini road trip yesterday. I went to Jackpot, Nevada with a friend of mine to get away from the Boise area for a day. So we went to a casino, spent some money, won some money, ate some food.
It's a bit faster.
Had a wonderful view of the mountain with some fresh snow. Feels like a little bit more like winter around here today, even though it's sunny, it's chilly out. Hey, Matt, does Boston has a big St. Patrick's Day parade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And New York City.
Yeah, it's beautiful in 61 here. So.
Oh, wow.
I'm more into March Madness myself, so I'm excited to get the ball rolling on watching some of the games after this blab.
Oh, yeah, that's why I was calling you March Madness Matt.
I know.
So, Dragoş decided he didn't want to hang out with us, so he left.
You have to unlock the seat.
Oh. Well, let's do that. Where did he go?
Well, Dragoş is messaging me on Facebook. He's like, you got to unlock the seat.
I told you I'd switch Wi-Fi's because there's a slower one and a faster one, and I connected to the faster one for better connectivity, and then I couldn't get back into Blab. I was like,
I forgot to unlock it.
Frantically typing EOT. All right, I'm good to go.
Okay, so hey everybody, welcome. We want to welcome Dragoş, who is a successful Udemy instructor and entrepreneur, and he also founded the website TeacHack.com, and we'll talk about that a little bit during this blab. So I want to go ahead and welcome Dragoş to the blab, and just maybe give us just a short introduction. I mean, don't spill too much because we're going to be talking about some of the stuff like your website and whatnot.
Sure. So I started on Udemy about 15 months ago, beginning of 2015, I think it was. And I've been doing courses ever since. I think I've hit about 13 or 14 courses. And yeah, for me, my story it was my escape from the corporate world. So I was working in finance and consulting before that, decided I wanted to do something else. The internet marketing world seemed appealing. The ability to work from your laptop and not be restricted by a location sounded pretty cool. So I just rolled the dice with Udemy, and it's worked pretty good so far.
Mm-hmm. Great. So what we're going to do is we've got questions, and I'm going to go ahead and let Matt start, and then we'll just kind of flip back and forth with the questions today, and then we'll take some questions from the audience, and also maybe let some people join us live if they would like to ask Dragoş or Matt or myself a question live. I just want to remind you a little bit about Blab before we get started. If you want to connect with others on the Blab, you can certainly do that across the top. Over here, if you want to announce to other people off to the left-hand side that we're doing a Blab, you can share this on Facebook and Twitter if you want to do that right now, and just let your friends know that we're talking live today. And if you want to give us props, that's the hands there at the bottom. If you like what we're saying, you can give us props for that. And then if you want to do a question, it's /Q, a space, and then your question. And that'll let us know that you have a question, because we've got so much stuff that'll go on in a chat that it's easier to see. So go ahead, Matt, and you can go ahead and start off.
So Dragos, you're saying you worked in the corporate world. What did you do specifically, and how did you connect that to making Udemy courses?
Well, so I worked for a year in financial controlling, which is where I got most of my PowerPoint and Excel skills, working 1 year strictly with numbers and all that. And so that was for a telecoms company. And then I worked for Accenture in management consulting. But, you have all these fancy words, you have all these dreams, all these people at university telling you how management consulting is the way to go and investment banking and all of that. I was working in London and I wasn't happy with my perspective. So I think what I learned in the corporate world was extremely valuable. I think it was an experience that I had to go through to understand certain things, and definitely the skills that I learned during my time in those companies can be seen in my courses now. So it's, I can see the path moving. If I look backwards, I can connect the dots. I couldn't have known before, but now I can connect the dots.
So man, I thought that you were like on mute or something, and you were shaking your head. So
I think he was.
Yeah, well, I'm just listening. All right. Well, Dennis.
So when I kind of know like your story because we've talked many times before. The audience doesn't. I think we all went through the same thing where we had the 9-to-5 type job. And then we just started discovering that we wanted the freedom to do some of these things on our own. So when did you first start thinking about like online courses, or when did you discover that and decide, hey, this is something that I want to do?
See, what I think happens with a lot of people is, they don't have the belief that they can create content, as in they think they should be an expert in their field to the point where they're one of the best people in the field to be able to teach, which is not true. And the second thing that people confuse or they don't know about it is how much financial potential there is in this. And, because I've spoken to a lot of people who have never done courses. And when I ask them, well, why don't you do something? They always say, oh, do you make any money from it? The perception is not there yet. Online education is not there yet in the brains of people to think that they could make money from this. But I was fortunate to have a really good friend that started off on Udemy pretty much 2013, I think it was, end of 2013. And seeing his growth and seeing how he evolved and when his revenue absolutely exploded, I kind of knew the financial potential of the platform. So I knew I was going for, I didn't know I was going for a sure thing, but looking at my topics and knowing they were in that niche and there was an audience for it, I knew that I could potentially make a living off of it. I never knew for sure, but I knew the potential was there. So for me, maybe the leap of faith wasn't as big as it is for other people. So I guess that's how I kind of got into it.
Mm-hmm. So was that, oh, sorry. See what happens with the delay here. I was going to ask if that friend was that Jimmy?
Yeah, it was Jimmy. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. He's crushing it too. So when you did first start to make your first course and you saw competition in your niche, what were your first thoughts? And can you talk a little bit about creating your first course as well as like your limiting beliefs and whatever else?
Yeah, so it's actually fascinating because when I told you earlier that I started connecting the dots while in Accenture, I was part of this, let's say, group of people that were tasked to train senior managers and managing directors in how to use social media. So I was kind of an ambassador for social media within the company, and it's a huge company in the UK. Now, one of the things that I was particularly good at was LinkedIn. I had made a lot of connections on LinkedIn. I knew how to network on the platform. So for me, knowing that I was one of the best people on LinkedIn within that company gave me the confidence to say, okay, I can definitely do a LinkedIn course. So that for me was the first topic. Now, thinking about that, I was also really good in Excel. I could see that on every project that I worked on and from my previous experience and at university and so on. But see, when I searched for LinkedIn, there were about 3 pages of courses on Udemy for LinkedIn, and I remember I was creating the content, and I was thinking, how is it going to sell? Is it going to make any money? Like, there's like 36 other courses. How is my course going to make any money off of that? I didn't know. I was struck with all these limiting beliefs, but I just said, you know what? I'll work on it. I'll launch it, and I'll see afterwards. If I don't launch it, there's no way to know if it works or not. And I had the support structure behind me. So Jimmy and some other friends that were behind me, and they were telling me, just do it, you know? And what's funny is that I did the LinkedIn course. I started with other courses, and then I did some PowerPoint courses, blah, blah, blah. Point is, 8 months in, I look at it and I'm like, well, you know what? Competition is actually something good on Udemy. It's actually amazing, because if there's competition, that means there's a market for it. And I looked at Excel, and there were about 25 pages of Excel courses. And I still said, okay, you know what? I'll create the best Excel course that I can, and I'll just see where I can go with it. And it's not the top Excel course, but I managed to put it on the first page, which for me was confirmation that everything that I was thinking about before were just limiting beliefs. Now, the first course, I did it while I was still working full time. So I was working evenings and weekends, and the process was so inefficient when I think about it. So inefficient compared to how I do it now. Now I could do the LinkedIn course, literally how I did it the first time. I could do it in maybe 3 to 4 days with everything, talking heads, filming on a green screen, and all of that. But it was a learning curve, and I appreciated the effort, and it was fascinating to see how I could evolve to churning out courses faster and faster. So it's pretty fascinating when you look at the whole evolution and how your perception changes once you accomplish those baby steps and you start thinking more in depth.
So are you still just on Udemy only, or have you branched out to some of these other sites out there like Teachable and Skillshare?
I'm mostly on Udemy so far. I've tried Skillshare, but I don't want to divide my attention.
Mm-hmm.
I think Udemy has a ton of potential, and it's growing exponentially, and I have some strategies to both further my personal presence on Udemy and build a sustainable business on Udemy that is not necessarily dependent on me as a content creator, if that makes sense. And as soon as I'm at a point where I feel satisfied with that, I'll think about properly diversifying on other channels, and not even online education, other things as well.
Yeah.
But for now, Udemy is my main focus. I'd say 80%.
Okay. Matt, did you want to go ahead? I think you brought up a question that somebody had.
Okay. So Drago, somebody, Sherman asks, what do you recommend when you don't have the support system or access to someone who is already doing what you're doing?
The way I think about these things, so I could have gone into it by myself, but I had another friend, not Jimmy, who was about, let's say, 3 to 4 years ahead of me in terms of his professional career. He's an entrepreneur as well, an online marketer. So I said, look, I want to partner with you because I want you to be kind of like my mentor. Because this guy being ahead of me knew exactly what kind of targeted advice to give. And it's much easier for me to progress when I know exactly the path that I'm taking, right? So in terms of when you don't have that support system, what I would recommend is to approach people that are 4 to 5 years ahead of you and that you could learn from. So for example, let's say, Sherman, you want to do Udemy courses, reach out to instructors, because deep down, people want to help. They might not have the time, but if you know how to offer, that's the most important thing. Don't go to someone telling them, hey, can you teach me how to do Udemy courses? Analyze that person, see what they want, because obviously you're good at some things as well, and try to offer them that without expecting anything in return. And then that person is going to be intrigued enough, hopefully, if you've made a good read, and they're going to offer you their time. I think there's a good course about this. Actually, Jimmy did a good course about this with a friend of ours that has done this to reach out to millionaires, to people that have had 10, 20 businesses, and actually connect with them, and actually they connected on a very deep level using these methods. So never underestimate how much people are willing to help, but don't go in asking the questions, go in offering value, and then only then see if they're willing to help you and how much time they have for it.
Awesome.
I thought I was on mute.
Well,
yeah, it's a bit weird. I'm talking and there's like no background noise whatsoever, you know?
I know. Well, it's tough for like two co-hosts, I guess, for me at least, when whose turn it is to talk and everything like that. All right, Dennis, you ask your question and then we'll get to somebody else had a question on here. They just didn't do a /Q, so I figure.
Well, we can go ahead and take that question and then I'll go ahead and move on. I mean, we got plenty of time, so.
Okay. So Dragoş, what specific steps would you recommend to get your course on the first page of Udemy when there's so much competition in your field? So your LinkedIn course or your Excel course, when there's so much competition, what did you do to get it as high as you could in the search fields?
Well, this is a two-part question. The first thing is you need to take care of SEO, but I'm not going to go on about SEO on Udemy. There's courses on that. Scott has a really good course on that. The main thing you need to worry about is, well, it all starts with the content, right? You need to have quality content. You need to engage people. I know I'm speaking at a very general level here, but I can't really go into detail that much. You need to create really quality content to engage people from the beginning, because especially now with the Udemy review system, you need to get those 5-star reviews, as many as possible, 5 and 4-star reviews, when students are prompted to give them. Apart from that, I would say focus on getting social proof when you launch the course. And I think I have a suspicion the timing of launching the courses matters as well. But getting as much social proof as you can, so reviews, getting the student number up, putting that course out there, and then hopefully catching that initial drift during the first month, because Udemy promotes your course, or they prioritize it in their algorithms in the first month or so. So getting that initial social proof, I think, is crucial. Now, for me, it really depends. With the LinkedIn course, it just happened because it was a very good quality, and it was lower. It got higher up in the rankings because I created more and more courses. And obviously, once you have, there's a difference between being an instructor that has one course on there. People look at you and they're like, okay, it looks cool. But there's a difference when you have 10 courses and people are coming from other different courses and they say, okay, this was quality, so I'll definitely enroll in this as well. So that's one part of the things. But there's also the size of the market, right? So for my Excel course, knowing that there were 25 pages of Excel courses, I really went full on it. So I made it my mission to get a number of reviews, to get a number of students on, and to just see if I put this aggressive push, how high I can take it. And then it's just about, optimizing whatever you can. So seeing the engagement, seeing how the course evolves, getting the discussions flowing within the course, and simply trying to keep that momentum once you have it.
Awesome. And because I know you have a lot of great content, and you've had experience with like Udemy trying to back you, and I know you're doing very, very well on Udemy. So, Dennis?
Thanks.
Well, the next question that just came up actually has to do with the question that I was going to ask, because it's been something that's been in the studio and we've all been talking about it. Coming up on April the 4th, Udemy is going to be changing their pricing structure, where they had allowed instructors to price their courses anywhere between $900 to $300. Now that's changing. It's going to be from $20 to $50, and then in increments of $5, $25, $30, $35, and so on. And then as far as discounting, instructors won't be able to discount their courses any more than 50%. So my question is your thoughts on that new pricing structure, and do you think that it's going to help grow your revenue at a faster pace now that we're seeing the maybe the playing field level a little bit more, because it's going to be, the courses aren't going to have a wide spread of pricing? So what are your thoughts on that?
I love it. as soon as I heard about it, I was like, wow, this is brilliant. There's a number of reasons for this. The first one is Udemy was pretty fake, and we all contributed to it, because it's just the way the system got managed for about 2 years. But I think this reflects better the quality of the courses on Udemy, and I think it's going to push the average selling price of a course higher, because I can't imagine too many 50% discounts being offered. And a lot of people are going to price their courses higher. To me, I think this, as you said, Dennis, levels the playing field a lot. I think there will be a real competition on price. So far, I price my courses really high because there's that social proof element of it and that discount factor. When you have a course priced at $197 and people see it reduced to $10 or $12 or $15, they can't wait to get their hands on it. But now there's going to be a real competition on price. Now, I don't think, for me, maybe the only courses that I'm going to price slightly higher than the $20 are going to be the courses that I'm really well established on. So, for example, the LinkedIn one, everything that I know is in the top search results. But I wouldn't price it at something that would be, for example, $40 when I'm sure there's other LinkedIn courses that are really good that could be priced at $20. I don't see the added value for a person to pay that $20 unless my course absolutely blows everything out of the water. So I think I'm going to keep a low pricing point, probably $20 for all the courses, because the way I see it, a lower price means a higher volume. So if I get more paying students, then I'll climb in the rankings. And as soon as I climb in the rankings, maybe I'll consider putting the price up. But you have to bear in mind, for all the people that are complaining about the new pricing system, we don't have any physical costs, no variable costs anyway with selling a course. So for me, selling it at 20 or selling it at 40 or selling it at 50 is going to be a matter of volume. If I can get way more volume at 20 than I would get at 50, I still make more revenue and my costs are the same. So for me, it's more about what kind of price can I put to ensure that I make more sales than everybody else and more money, and ultimately climb up the ranks. I think that's the better question to ask here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think there's this website called Masterclass, and if Serena Williams can teach you how to play tennis for $90, we can sell a course for $50. Or if a best-selling author, like 20-time best-selling, is teaching you how to write, and he has weekly webinars to further your learning for $90, lifetime access, then we can sell it for $50.
Yeah, I agree. And for the people that want to sell their courses for $300, cool. Just host it on your website and sell it if you can. I mean, if they're able to do that, why are they on Udemy in the first place? Because 99% of us are on Udemy for their traffic, and a lot of us underestimate the money they pump into bringing that targeted traffic onto the website. Yeah. So, if you can sell it for more, sell it for more,
Well, that's the same thing that I feel like when people are bitching about affiliate marketers taking, a chunk of their profit or something like that. It's like, okay, if the affiliate marketer wasn't there with their website and bringing traffic to their website to buy your course, you wouldn't have that sell to begin with. And so it's the same thing like with Udemy. It's like you said, they're doing all of this stuff to bring massive amounts of traffic to their website. And if it weren't for them, it's like you wouldn't have that platform. So then go and try to sell it on your.com and see how many people find you with all of the other competition that you have out there on Google. There's just no way, unless you built that following yourself. Then yeah, you might be able to charge $200-$300 per course or whatever. Like you said, if at 20, 30, 40, whatever, if you were to bring in large volumes, then you're going to make up that revenue at that less expensive price point.
And you work way less for those sales. I think it's much more passive than sustaining your own website.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take that into account as well.
Yeah, it's tough. I have my own websites. It's not cheap. You've got hackers out there who are trying to put malware on your sites or slow your sites down or whatever. And so you have to buy not only your hosting costs, but you have to buy security software to protect your website. It's not easy a lot of times to be able to do that yourself.
Before we talk about websites, which we will in a minute, Fast Pup Dog Training asks, how difficult is it to get reviews? Because this is the second time they've heard about Udemy on a blab, but they don't have much experience with it. So how difficult is it to get reviews?
I mean, it's not difficult at all. Now, that doesn't mean you're supposed to pay for them or, get strangers to do it. I mean, the way I do it is I have a mastermind group that I share coupons with. And, it helps. It's maybe not the way Udemy would envision it, but it helps to build that social proof initially. There's a huge difference. If you put, you have a new and noteworthy section, and most likely if you've launched a few good courses, I'm not even sure the criteria that they use for that, but your course is going to be in the new and noteworthy list. Now imagine launching it and in one day you have 3 or 4 5-star reviews, as opposed to not having any review whatsoever. The social proof is just immense. You can offer coupons for feedback on Udemy Studio and people will leave ratings. And as soon as you get that attention, now with the new review system on Udemy, if more people enroll, they're prompted after about, 10, 15 minutes of the course to drop a review. So it's not difficult at all. But I think you need to have the perfect kind of circumstances to not appeal to your email lists for reviews, to your friends, to other people, and actually manage to get your course go viral just for the traffic that hits Udemy. It just helps a ton when you start out.
So you run a website called TeacHack.com, and do you want to talk about what you're offering and how you're helping others?
Yeah, I can do. I mean, my website is not that big of a focus for me. I write about pretty much all the topics that I approach my courses on. I've started to have a focus lately on Udemy course creation, but I need to focus more on that to churn out more articles. So it's a nice website. It's responsive. I like it. I like writing about Udemy on it. But it needs to have more content focused on Udemy course creation, and that's how I envision it in the future. So it will be things that can be found in my course as well, but targeted, structured, step-by-step articles on different aspects Udemy related, which each one of us ask themselves, especially those who are just starting on Udemy and don't have much to follow.
And can you give those who are listening like 2 or 3 tips how you market your website and how they can emulate your success in marketing it?
For now, I haven't had a huge focus on this. I do have a YouTube channel as well that I post videos on. And you can send educational announcements from Udemy, so I do that from time to time. And you can put bonus lectures where you send people to your website. So that's pretty much the extent to which I market my website. So pretty much still focusing on the traffic that comes from Udemy, and funneling the people that are, people that would love your courses will go to your website. So yeah.
And what are you doing with the Udemy students that you're funneling to your website? And then I'm assuming those who sign up for your email list, do you have a plan what you're going to do with those? Or
yeah, so I'm thinking of I need to improve my email list a bit more, but I'm thinking of doing maybe a premium course dedicated to these people on, filled with case studies, filled with practical ways to build a Udemy course, from content creation, outline creation, to the filming, how to build a course on a budget, how to have a high-class production, Udemy marketing and all that, and potentially even a coaching program but I'm still ironing those details out. It's still early phase, but that's why I would focus my writing on Udemy tips, because they're really helpful. I really wish someone would have told me that information when I was just starting in that form. So it's really helpful when you start out, but I think it's also really helpful to have someone as a mentor or someone to help you with those tips that, is that 20% that you get after about a year or so, 6 months on Udemy, that you find out really hard and that nobody actually tells you about them when you get started.
How often are you adding new content to your website? Because I think that's one of the things that maybe we can let people know the importance of adding content to their websites, because you can take that content and gosh, I lost like my train of thought there. Take that content and reuse it again, repurpose the content into potential future course. So what are you doing like when it comes to content on the website? Do you have a regular schedule?
Well, I used to. You caught me in the wrong time. I don't think I posted an article in about 3 weeks or so. But what I follow is I take the reverse approach. So I would look at the content that I created for my courses already, scour through them, and depending on the ideas that I get, I would just write an article. When I get the feel for a topic, I would write about it. So right now, I think I'm following my Udemy course creation material and simply transforming some of the lectures, adding updated info that I have now, and kind of creating a blueprint to how you can, create your own Udemy course, as a beginner. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree. It's important to be consistent with it.
Okay. Yeah. So the people who are watching, or the people who joined us, probably don't know that Dragoş is actually joining us from Romania, where it's about coming up, I think, on 8:00 in the evening. And he's in what do we call those? Like, I forget now. Again, it's where like a lot of entrepreneurs work. It's co-sharing space, right?
Co-working space, yeah.
Yeah. So I was kind of going through your blog before the show, and I see that one of the articles is on morning routines, the importance of a morning routine. And you and I have talked about that. You just got back from the gym. So I know that I think you go to the gym sometimes in the morning and the evening, and we've also talked about meditation. So what are some of your suggestions and stuff for entrepreneurs? Because I think that a morning routine is important. It's important to get up early, and I have that issue myself, not getting up early. When we're done here, I'm going on a walk. So
yeah, see, there's that whole, it really depends what you value. There's that whole perception when you work from your laptop that you can do whatever you want, you can travel wherever you want to, and that's perfectly fine. I know people that do this full time. They're in another location every other week or so, mm-hmm. and that's really cool. Now, it depends what you want to do. For me, last summer, I was still in the process where I had to develop a lot of content, and I traveled a lot. I mean, I think I was in about 5 to 6 countries over a 6-week span or something. Went to Asia and so on. And what I found is that after those 6 weeks, I was really unfit. I didn't get much work done. I didn't have a routine. I couldn't focus. It's a lot of things. So when I moved back home in Bucharest, in Romania, I really felt the need for a routine. So I just said, okay, I'm going to find a co-working space where I go work every day. I'm going to sign up for the gym, and I'm going to have my own routine. And since then, I very rarely wake up after 7:30 in the morning. I had a period when I was going to the gym. I was waking up at 6 a.m. every morning. Now I started to pick and choose my workouts. So sometimes I do evenings simply because I either have personal training sessions or there's a class that I like that's in the evening. But even like that, I usually wake up at 7 a.m. and I always do the same thing. So I would wake up and have breakfast. I would meditate, either go to the gym before have breakfast, meditate, and then I would head out to the co-working space. And I actually enjoy it because it makes me more productive. Plus, it's been winter for like autumn for about 5-6 months now, so it's not like I'm losing out on anything.
Yeah, it's nice out here today. It'll be 70 on Sunday, and the next day 55. So it's like it makes it difficult sometimes. But yeah, I just think that that getting into that routine. I know that our guest last week, Gabby Wallace, her theme was being consistent. And I think that just comes into play with a lot of stuff that we go through.
Yeah, and you just have to start small. It's not like you have to completely change the way you live all of a sudden. For me, it was okay. I knew I had to start waking up early, and simply signing up for the gym and going to this place to work were big steps. But everything else, meditation, nutrition, everything else, kind of like, you see what works for you and you add a tiny bit here, a tiny bit there, you adapt the process, you see how it evolves, and then it just becomes second nature, after a month or two. It's just how you do things, and that makes you more productive.
Mm-hmm. Constantly being self-aware and constantly trying to improve your way of life, right?
Yeah.
Matt, you and I have been talking about that with my situation. It's like it's just something that I struggle with daily, like just trying to improve things and all of that. That's why I like doing these blabs, because I always take away something that I write down, consistent, whether it be consistent or making my life better or making the lives of others better too.
And I guess keeping with our conversations, Dennis, Dragoş, do you ever get worried that some of your passive income streams might dry up? And if so, what are you doing daily to ensure that you don't have to return to the 9 to 5?
I do worry. Maybe not that much, because Udemy is growing pretty healthy now. I mean, as I said before, I'm trying to diversify within Udemy, so not necessarily on other platforms so far. I want to go through my website in a few months. I'm gonna make this a particular focus on my strategy. But now, the way I see myself as a content creator. I don't see myself as an expert in PowerPoint, Excel, LinkedIn, and so on. I know how to do marketing. I know how to create really good content. I know how to make the production quality top notch, so I can train other people to do it. Now I'm focusing mostly on finding specialists here locally, because we have a lot of talented people that speak good English. So that's kind of my focus now. That's why I said I want to build a business through Udemy that is not dependent on me as a content creator. So I think partnerships is definitely a way to go through this, and training people. And that goes hand in hand with offering coaching programs through your website, because you can significantly shorten the amount of time that someone needs to learn these skills if you give them actionable, step-by-step material that they have to follow, so that they don't make the same mistakes that you did.
And are you talking about partnering with talent there to co-instruct courses, or?
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much following a publisher model, if you want.
Dennis?
I was looking at the questions that we had, and it almost looks like I was trying to figure out there. Hold on, just I'm all like choked up today. If we were like nearing the end of the questions, and we've still got 20 minutes left here, I saw that we had one question here. Did we cover this one?
So originally the question that was asked was like, what startup costs do you have to creating a Udemy course / business, and like what materials do you use to create your courses?
Well, it depends what you want to do. This can go two ways. So if you partner with someone that's good with producing courses, so on the production side of things, then you don't have to spend too much, because you can simply share revenue if you want to go that way. That's how I did it at first. If you do mostly screen share and you don't need that much talking head video, Then you just need a good studio mic. Can't imagine it's more than $100 for a good mic. I paid a bit more for mine. It's an Audio Technica, but I think you can find cheaper ones that work really well. And then I don't think you need more other than editing software if you do mostly screen share. Now, there's a misconception that you need to have proper filming material to get good shots. No, the quality is not that high on Udemy. So if you have a phone that films HD and you have, natural light would be preferable. You could buy some lights, even though that's when it gets expensive. But if you have someone that has knowledge in filming, then a DSLR or any smartphone really that films full HD should do the trick. Now, with me, I've invested quite a lot in production, so I bought everything that I need here for about, I think, $700 to $800. But that means 4 sets of lights, professional microphone. This doesn't include a camera, but I could film with a phone. Tripods, the tripods that hold the green screen, and everything that goes there. I think that's about it. But what you get is, if you have courses that require you to do talking head or for the promo videos, they really look nice. It's a professional filming quality. So I think that matters a lot. But a lot of people can just do screen share. I know you, Matt, you don't have talking head videos and you're killing it. So, I would say start off on a budget. Maybe go as much as trying to film yourself with a smartphone. The lighting would be really important. Mm-hmm. But, smartphone with a tripod and a microphone for a smartphone, that's about everything that you would need for good talking head videos.
Yeah, I just bought a tripod for my smartphone the other day that I got. That's like $7.
Yeah, for me, I don't do talking head videos because I mostly speak with a lot of uhs and ums, and I don't perform well necessarily on camera. But right. I've found success just doing PowerPoint presentations, screen captures, and you can still do well doing that. Alan Hill does very well doing that. So if you have coding courses, it's mostly, I don't think they're doing talking head. I think it's mostly, I don't know what they're doing for coding, because I think you learn mostly from actually coding and not listening to somebody. So who knows with that, but I would at least start with just getting a mic and screen capturing software, editing software.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that you talk about like talking heads, and you're sitting here doing this blab, and you don't have a problem with ums and ahs. So
Dragoş is primarily giving the information, so my talking is limited in these.
So you want me to go ahead and go with this last question that we have here, and then we can wrap it up a little bit early today? So Matt's probably on mute here. So, hey, Dragoş, what advice would you give to our listeners that are thinking about maybe leaving their 9-to-5 jobs for the lifestyle that somebody like you or Matt or myself that we're living with passive income in Udemy? Is there a point, like, because I know you were working in, I think, London for like a corporation, and so is there a point that people actually break the chains and just go for it, or?
Well, I mean, that depends. Every individual has their own situation. I'm just looking up an article. I've actually written an article about this on my website, which is called 4 Udemy Questions You Definitely Asked Yourself. And the reason I say this is because someone pointed it out. Before, I used to encourage everyone to do Udemy courses, right? Everyone that had a specialty in something. But then I kind of backed off that stance because, it can't work for everyone. So I think it's really important for people that want to start off to validate their ideas. So if you can make it work part-time, then try to do so. For me, having the support structure behind me and seeing the first results from my first course, that gave me the courage to say, okay, I'm taking the risk to do this. But everybody knows their own situation and how much money they would need to make to feel comfortable with leaving their jobs. That being said, I think it's never going to be something that's sure. It's not going to be a done deal. unless you absolutely kill it with your first course. So you definitely need to ask yourself some questions. You need to see the niche that you're in. You need to see if it has potential. Obviously, if it's something really big, you can make a ton of money. But if it's something more niche, then I would definitely suggest test it first, see the results, and then consider leaving your job or whatever your situation is. If you do have the time, if you work part-time or something, and you would have 10-20 hours per week to do a course, then yeah, just do it and see what happens. If you don't do it, you'll never know. So,
and one of our listeners, kind of going off that, you said the first month while launching your course, these are the steps that you do. Somebody wants to know, what about the first 3 days? What kind of actions would you take and recommendations that you would give?
I would just focus on getting proof. Focus before launching the course. So, as soon as you've submitted it for review, or even before, talk to your friends, tell them, hey, I'll hit you up with a course. If you can watch, 50% of it, leave a review, post coupons on Udemy Studio, try to watch other courses and see how they optimize for SEO, build a dashboard, see where your course ranks as soon as it drops on the market, see how it evolves. What I do is I look at it straight away, and then as soon as I read the coupons, as soon as I get new reviews, I get a few sales coming through, I watch how it progresses on the top paid. So go in the categories, in your subcategory, top paid courses. That's basically the ranking that Udemy gives that course, pure ranking of its core, of interest, engagement, and so on, and watch how that evolves. And simply, just have a focused push on doing that. I would say also do this if there's a Udemy-wide promotion, then that would help. If you launch your course near a promotion period where all the courses on Udemy are a certain price, or maybe now all of the courses are going to be discounted by a certain percentage, and they're funneling traffic towards the website, then if you launch it then have a focused push to promote it.
And do you have any so anybody who else has a question, feel free to do it on the live chat. Do you have any more initial thoughts for you other Udemy instructors out there, and where, if you want to promote something?
What? Any thought? I think course quality is where it's at. Whatever your main focus is, course quality needs to be the first one. So definitely focus on making your content engaging, step by step. Give them extra resources, give them PDFs, give them templates, give them anything that would go beyond just the video in the course. Don't just do it for the sake of doing a course.
So for your Excel course, for instance, what kind of resources and materials would you give your students? One example.
Shortcuts, top 5 shortcuts that you could do in Excel. I'm launching a new Excel course in a few days or weeks, where I'm doing a spreadsheet. So I give them the spreadsheet that I work on. They see everything that I do. They do it at the same time, and then I have a class test at the end. So I give them a spreadsheet with the scenario, and I record myself explaining the scenario. And then I have a spreadsheet with the solution, which is what they should get at, and I record myself explaining the solution. So that that goes beyond just the majority of Excel courses, which just say, here's how you use the if formula, here's how you use VLOOKUP, here's how you use this and that. There's no practicality, no real life scenario in that. People need to understand the ultimate functionality of what you're teaching them, not how something works.
And maybe a course that's more concept based, maybe your LinkedIn course. What would be a resource or an extra incentive that you would give your students?
So for the LinkedIn one, I'd say, for example, I have PDFs with summaries from LinkedIn, networking scripts, case studies with how people that took my course a year ago, how they changed their profile and how it looks now. All sorts of stuff like that, I think is extremely valuable.
Do you have any more questions, Dennis?
I don't. I was looking at something of that came up on the screen there. We were talking, I was listening, but I had something that I had to take care of. No, I think that's like like giving people like something like you would call like hacks or tips or something like that. Same thing goes for when you do an educational announcement in your course. That's one thing that I'm guilty of, that I see of that coming across the screen and know that I need to do more of, is giving people, like on my WordPress course, a good way to get that information would be using Google and using their, gosh darn it, now I'm like trying to think of the name that Google gives you, Google Alerts. And you can put in like Excel or WordPress or eBay, and all of the news regarding eBay or Udemy will come up every day if you set it that way. And you can take that information that you're getting and share that with your students in the form of an educational announcement, or adding more content to your course. So adding new lectures, if it's WordPress, and there's WordPress security is big right now, giving people 5 ways to keep your WordPress website secure for free would be added content that would add value to your course.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So yeah, we're coming up on about to the top of the hour now, and I think we pretty much covered like everything. I knew that we were running a little bit ahead, but that's not a problem. Does anybody have any? Here's a question here. So do you think it's more difficult to start on Udemy now than it was 1 to 2 years ago?
Definitely. Much harder, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
You can definitely do it. But you can see that, and I think the pricing structure will help to make competition more equal. But up until now, people that have been established for 2-3 years on Udemy have a significant advantage to those who are just starting out.
Yeah, I wouldn't let that stop you. I mean, on Kindle, there's thousands of Kindle books out there, and many from the same topic. We know that Udemy, that there's, several WordPress courses, and I'm sure there's several Excel courses and eBay courses and stuff like that. And, if you teach differently and you gradually build your following and you get good reviews, then you can gain traction on a platform like Udemy. It just depends on what you bring to the table.
I mean, you definitely can, and it's made much easier now since they've implemented the new review system and the pricing structure. So definitely go for it. Sorry, Matt, for interrupting.
Oh, no, it's okay. And that also doesn't mean that the current Udemy instructors who have built the following, who have built success already on Udemy, they might become complacent, and you might be able to create much better content than them. People might like you more as a person, anything of the above. So that doesn't necessarily mean that, empires die, so, and then newer, you can come in and still grab some of their market share.
I can definitely think of a few examples.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we all know what's out there, and the new review system and the new pricing might make it difficult for some of those people to continue to produce the way that they do, or continue their ways. So yeah, definitely. Matt, do you have any more questions before we wrap up today, or audience members have any questions before we wrap up today? If not, then we'll go around the horn and just tell people where they can find us online, where you can find Dragoş.
No, I mean, I don't have any last questions. I am going to watch March Madness after this, though. So
yeah, that's why I was like, he's got the scores up and all of that. So
yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
Me, I'm going to take a walk and go to the coffee shop and get some work done. Dragoş, where can people find you online? I know you have your website, so go ahead and let us know where we can find you.
Should I put it in the message board?
Yeah, you can. And then also you want to shout it out loud, since this is going to go out onto YouTube and other places.
Yeah, so you can go to TeachHack.com. You can go to teachhack.com/Udemy. I'll just put it here. Or teachhack.com/YouTube channel for my YouTube channel.
Okay.
That's my website, YouTube channel, and Udemy profile.
That's a great way for people to find you.
And my name is Matt Bernstein. People can find me at skillhance.com or courses.skillhance.com. And for those interested in March Madness, my 3 upset picks today are Yale, Gonzaga, and Wichita State.
Go Cavs.
I'm going to go with Gonzaga since they're in Spokane. Okay, so yeah, you can find me at dennisjsmith.com, which will point to, you can watch if you go to dennisjsmith.com/blab. If you're just joining us, you can watch the replay of today's blab there, or you can find it on Blab and YouTube. So yeah, thanks a lot for joining us today. Matt and I do this every week on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time, which is 10 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. If you're in any other location, there's a website that you can just type in time zone and it will tell you like where to find this blab at your local time. And Blab does that too, I believe. So thanks again for taking time out of your day to join us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Greg.
It was great.
Thanks.
It was really fun talking to you.
All right. Take care. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks.
Have a great day. Thanks
Take care.
for joining
Bye.
me.
Bye. Danny boy.
I'm going to kick you out.
I'm trying to
Goodbye, everybody.